AITA for evicting my brother after he got out of jail? He says he wants to do better, but I don't believe him. Hi Reddit. I'm writing this on a throwaway account because my main is known to family, and I really don't want more drama. This has turned into a huge mess, and I feel like I'm losing my mind trying to decide whether I'm being cold and unforgiving or simply protecting myself. I, 32F, live alone with my dog in a small 2-bedroom house that I bought last year after years of scraping by and working my ass off. I'm not rich, not even middle class. I work full-time in healthcare and do side gigs on weekends. I've lived paycheck to paycheck for years, slowly building credit and saving. Buying this house was my biggest life accomplishment. It's not huge or fancy, but it's mine. It's safe, and I've never had that before. Enter my younger brother, Darren, 29M. Darren and I were incredibly close when we were kids. We shared a room until I was 14. He was goofy and curious, and followed me around everywhere. He loved comic books, and had this old hoodie he wore every day until it practically disintegrated. I still remember how he cried when our dog died in high school, and how he used to crawl into bed with me when our parents fought at night. But as we got older, he changed. Fast. He started drinking in high school, got caught with weed, started skipping school. He dropped out at 17. My parents tried everything: grounding, therapy, threats, enabling. He got his GED, had a few jobs, lost all of them. Then it turned to pills, then harder drugs, then arrests. By the time he was 25, Darren had been in and out of jail 3 times. He stole from my parents thousands of dollars, pawned my grandmother's jewelry, and when I let him crash at my apartment once back in 2020, he disappeared for 2 days, then came back tweaking and tried to steal my laptop while I was sleeping. That was the last straw for me. I went no contact for a while. It broke my heart, but I couldn't keep cleaning up the mess. I started therapy. I worked on boundaries. I stopped trying to save him. Fast forward to this March. He got released after serving 18 months for possession with intent. My mom called me in tears the day he got out. She begged me to just talk to him. I was skeptical, but I agreed to meet up for lunch. And Reddit, he seemed different. He looked tired, older. He was sober, as far as I could tell, said all the right things. He talked about the meetings he went to in jail, about wanting a second chance. He apologized, in vague terms, for the past. Said he knew he had burned bridges but wanted to start fresh. He had nowhere to go. My mom lives in a tiny 1-bedroom and is battling her own health issues. My dad isn't in the picture. Darren's old friends, either still using or don't want him back. I told him I'd think about it. And after a week of talking it over with my therapist and mom, and stupidly ignoring my gut, I said yes. I gave him a 60-day trial stay in my spare room. Week 1, he was quiet, respectful, cleaned up after himself, helped with dinner once, took Toby, my dog, for a walk, said thank you, went to bed early, told me he was going to AA meetings, and had a sponsor named Rob. I actually started to feel hopeful. He even got a haircut and printed resumes. Week 2, he started staying up late. I'd hear him pacing the living room at 3 a.m. He left food out, started sleeping all day. His job application sat untouched on the table. I asked about meetings and he said, yeah, I'm going. Rob's cool, but something felt off. I told him gently that I needed him to either contribute financially or make serious progress on job hunting. He said, you sound like Mom, not in a joking way. Week 3, I found an empty beer can in the bathroom trash. He said it was old, and he found it outside. I let it go. The next day I came home and found the front door unlocked and Toby whining in his crate with no water. Then I noticed my anxiety meds were missing. I keep them in the bathroom cabinet. I knew exactly how many pills I had left. Gone. I asked him calmly. He said he didn't take them. Got defensive fast. Said I was paranoid and treating him like a criminal. I didn't yell. I just stared at him and said, I don't believe you. That night, I told him he had 7 days to find somewhere else to go. No exceptions. He said nothing at first, just stared at me, then said quietly, wow, you really don't believe I've changed, do you? I said, I believe you want to change. I just don't believe you've done it. He walked away. It's been 4 days. He's still here. He hasn't packed. He hasn't looked for places. He just sulks around the house, slamming doors, barely speaking. My mom is furious with me. She says I'm kicking him when he's down. She said I'll regret it if something happens to him. My aunt called me cold. Even my cousin texted. Damn, didn't think you'd be so heartless. But I don't know anymore. I want him to be okay. I want to believe he'll change. But I also remember being 27, crying in my car after I realized he stole from me. I remember hiding my debit card in my shoe when he stayed over. I remember the feeling of watching him nod off mid-sentence and wondering if he'd ever wake up. I'm tired of hoping he'll be someone he's not. I finally built something stable, something peaceful, and I don't want to live in fear again. So Reddit, AITA for evicting my brother after he got out of jail, even though he says he wants to do better? Is this protecting my peace or turning my back on family? Please be honest. Update, AITA for evicting my brother after he got out of jail, even though he says he wants to do better? Hi Reddit. I didn't expect my original post to get so much attention. Thank you to everyone who took the time to comment, especially the tough ones. Reading your stories and advice helped me more than I can say. I wanted to give you all an update because a lot has happened in the past week. After I told Darren he had a week to leave, things got weird. He wasn't violent or aggressive, just cold. He barely spoke to me, didn't pack, would disappear for hours, and then come back smelling like smoke and cheap body spray, saying nothing. The worst part, I started feeling unsafe in my own house. Not terrified, but anxious, guarded. I started locking my bedroom door again, hiding my wallet, triple-checking the dog's water and meds. And I hated feeling like that. It brought back every awful memory from when I used to walk on eggshells around him years ago. On day 6, I told him directly, Darren, I need you out tomorrow. I'm not extending this. You've made no effort to change my mind. You've made no effort at all. He didn't explode. He didn't beg. He just sat on the couch and said, You know, I thought maybe if you saw me, like really saw me, you'd believe I was trying. I told him, I did see you. And what I saw was exactly what I was afraid of. That's when he said something I'll never forget. Maybe it's easier for you to give up on me than it is to risk being disappointed again. I didn't answer. I just nodded. Maybe he was right. Maybe disappointment hurts worse when it comes from someone you used to build couch forts with. He walked into the guest room. That night, I heard him packing. He left the next afternoon with 2 garbage bags full of clothes, a duffel bag, and an old backpack that I know he stole from me years ago and I never asked about. No hugs. No, thank you. Not even a goodbye to Toby. He left his room a mess. Trash, a half-eaten sandwich under the bed, cigarette butts in a cup. But the worst thing he left was a small envelope on the kitchen table. Inside was a single torn notebook page. It said, Don't worry, I'll screw up somewhere else. My mom didn't talk to me for 3 days. She's still upset, though more quiet about it now. I think she knows, deep down, that I wasn't wrong, just not the version of right she wanted me to be. My aunt is still cold. My cousin actually apologized and admitted he was projecting. He went through something similar with a friend years ago. I've spent the last few days deep cleaning the house, washing all the sheets, smudging the guest room with sage because, honestly, I just needed the energy of him gone. I cried once. Not because I felt guilty, but because I felt relieved. And that made me feel awful for a moment. But only for a moment. I haven't heard from Darren since he left. I know through my mom that he's staying with a friend. I don't know how long that will last. I don't wish him harm. I hope he does turn his life around. But it won't be in my house, or at the expense of my peace. Not anymore. To everyone who commented, messaged, or even just read my post, thank you. Your words helped me hold a boundary when it got hard. I finally understand that protecting myself isn't betrayal. It's survival. Final update. AITA for evicting my brother after he got out of jail? Hi again, Reddit. It's been about 3 months since I last posted. A lot has changed, and I've been thinking a lot about what happened with my brother. I wasn't sure I wanted to post again, but I figured since so many people were kind enough to share their experiences and support, I owed a final update. If you haven't read the original post or the first update, my younger brother Darren moved in with me after getting out of jail. He promised he wanted to turn his life around. I gave him a chance. He relapsed. I evicted him. It broke my heart, but I stood by the decision. Here's what's happened since. At first, things were quiet. Honestly, the silence was unnerving. I didn't realize how tense I'd been until I wasn't walking around my own house with my shoulders up to my ears anymore. I started sleeping better. Toby, my dog, stopped barking at random times during the night. It was like we both exhaled. I turned Darren's old room into a reading room/home office. Nothing fancy, just a secondhand desk, a comfy chair, some string lights. I sit in there every morning with coffee now. It's mine. It's peaceful. But even with that peace, it wasn't easy emotionally. I kept second-guessing myself. What if this time could have been different? What if I'd waited just one more week? What if I really have given up on him? Those thoughts don't go away completely, but I've learned how to recognize them as grief, not guilt. A month ago, Darren texted me, "Hey, I'm in a sober living house now. Got a job at a warehouse. I'm trying. Just wanted you to know." I stared at the message for a long time. I didn't respond right away. Eventually, I wrote back, "I'm glad to hear that. I hope you keep going." That was it. He didn't reply. I don't know if he will, but that's okay. It was the first time he didn't ask for anything. Just wanted to tell me. That meant something. My mom has softened. She still wishes I'd handle things differently, but I think she sees now that the weight of Darren's life can't just fall on one person's shoulders. We've had some real conversations, hard ones, about what support really looks like and how enabling can wear a mask that looks a lot like love. My aunt hasn't brought it up again. I don't expect her to. That's fine too. I've reconnected with a cousin who quietly messaged me after my post and said, "You did the right thing, even if it hurt." We've actually gotten closer because of it. I still go to therapy, still work full-time, still say no without apology. I've learned a lot about what boundaries really mean. Not walls to shut people out, but fences to protect what you've grown. If Darren really is trying this time, I'll be happy for him. Truly. But I don't think I'll ever offer him my home again. And I think he knows that. Forgiveness doesn't always mean access. So was I the asshole? I don't think so anymore. I think I was a tired, heartbroken sister who finally chose herself after years of emotional whiplash. To anyone reading this who's dealing with a loved one in addiction, or the aftermath of jail, or just trying to hold the line, I see you. It's messy, it's thankless, but you're not cruel for wanting peace. You're not selfish for needing distance, and you're not broken for feeling love and fear at the same time. Thank you again for helping me through this. Reddit really was the first place I told the whole truth. Stay safe, and stay soft, but with a spine. Surprise update! AITA for evicting my brother after he got out of jail? Hey Reddit, I know I already posted what I thought would be my final update, but something happened recently that I honestly still can't process, and I wanted to share it here. Especially since so many of you have followed this whole thing with kindness, honesty, and the kind of blunt wisdom I really needed. To quickly recap, my brother Darren got out of jail. I let him live with me for 2 months. He relapsed, lied, and drained me emotionally. I evicted him. It was messy, but I stood by my choice. He eventually texted me to say he was in a sober living home. I responded with cautious encouragement. I've been trying to move on. Until 2 weeks ago, when I got a phone call that changed how I see everything. I got a call from a woman named Mel. She introduced herself as Darren's probation officer. I was confused at first. Why would she be calling me? She said she was doing a routine follow-up and had been trying to get in touch with Darren for 3 weeks. His last known address, mine. I told her he hadn't lived with me in months. I gave her the name of the sober house he texted me about. Her response, "We've checked. He never lived there. That house closed down over a year ago." I felt my stomach drop. She asked if I had any other contact info. I told her I didn't, just the one text he sent. She sighed and said, "Okay, sorry to bother you. If he contacts you again, please let him know he needs to check in. He's about to violate his probation." I went back to that text, the one where Darren said he was doing better. I realized it had no details, no address, no sponsor name, just a feel-good one-liner. I'm in a sober living house now. I got a job. I started putting pieces together. I texted him again. No response. Then I reached out to my mom. I asked if she'd heard from him. She said, Yeah, he's working at a mechanic's shop, staying with a friend from AA. When I asked who, she didn't know. She said Darren told her not to worry, that I was overreacting again. That's when I knew he was still lying. To her. To me. Probably to himself. The lie wasn't even the worst part. It's that I believed the lie because I wanted to. That one little text gave me peace. Gave me the illusion that he'd turned a corner. That maybe everything I went through, all the boundaries, all the guilt, had led to something good. But it didn't. Or maybe it hasn't yet. I don't know where Darren is now. I don't know if he's using. I don't know if he's okay. And the twist of it all, even after everything, I still care. I still want him to call. I still want to hear he's getting better, for real this time. Addiction is a thief. It doesn't just take the addict. It takes your trust, your memories, your ability to believe the person you love is still in there. This whole time, I thought the story was over. I thought I'd made peace. But the truth is, when someone you love is fighting a battle like this, the story doesn't end cleanly. It circles. It reopens. Sometimes with a twist. No. I still don't think I was wrong to evict him. But I was wrong to think that doing the right thing would come with peace. Sometimes the right thing just hurts in a way that doesn't go away. Thanks for reading. And for reminding me that strength isn't about staying hard, it's about staying clear. I'll post again if anything changes. Until then, take care of yourselves. And if you love someone who's struggling, please remember, it's okay to step back, even if your heart stays facing forward. Up.